I'll do this side.
Turn it down on that. No,
Okay.
now I'm gonna put the participants and chat.
And where?
Chat. And you are the ones that I do. So you can.
I can just leave them there until we want to start it.
There you go. Why would you do that though?
Why not?
I don't know. Do you not want to talk to him?
For 10 minutes, talk to Richard.
Want to buy this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't put any barbecue sauce on it. I put garlic butter though.
That's good.
You're fucking being so well behaved.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, boss.
Hi. Can we all hear each other?
Loud and clear.
Cool. Looks like Christmas at your house, Travis. I thought we were supposed to have another holiday before Christmas.
National Turkey Day.
I know, this one's going to be an interesting one. I turned 50 on November 27th.
Whoa.
I know. It's going to be a very
Was it?
interesting Turkey Day for me.
I remember way back then when I turned 50, it was kind of momentous. It's been downhill ever since.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I'll tell you, I'm feeling rough. I'm feeling rough.
Downhill means easy coasting. It's
That's good. That's good. I'm hoping it's going to be that way. I like that. I am feeling rough about it, though.
You'll be heading downhill towards the ocean after that.
I went to the ocean actually on Saturday. My favorite part, Sparrow Park Road. Put the lamp right underneath you. The upshot makes you hauntingly delicious. Yes. A little bit back. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so good. Oh. Travis, Annika showed me I saw what you were talking about with Sharps containers. You're muted.
Yeah, the other day I had to go. I was walking to Blair Alley, and there was like a needle laying in the middle of the street. And like, I know that we have a Sharps container at Blair Alley, but none of the other businesses do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, we need to have, every business should have a Sharps container available just for their employees and stuff, so that they're not going to the trash cans.
I agree.
You know, and I
think it's great.
I think that's really, it's easy.
Yeah. And at least, by dialoguing with them too, we'll find out who doesn't, because maybe some people do, but I think it's a great idea to make sure that
I
everybody.
think they don't.
And I mean, to even like build onto that idea, knowing who needs it and who doesn't, like allows us to like build alliances to like solve some of those bigger problems in the future. So
it's a good I think, for conversation. So it was a great idea.
Sure.
There's Andrew.
Yeah, I was like, I had to go all the way to Blair Alley, walk back with the Sharps container and rubber gloves.
Man, no mustache.
Or is it just?
Or is it? I can barely see it. No.
There's like a
So, yeah,
shadow.
it's like people at Meiji were horrified. They're like, "What's this guy doing? Walking with a Sharps container and gloves?"
Oh, I bring him. Oh, there's Thea. Cool. I bring him to my work too, because we have a lot of houseless individuals who toss their needles there, and my coworkers are horrified that I carry one in my car, which is so bizarre.
I don't know why.
I know. Well, I mean, they're not used to it at all. Well, hello, everyone. I can see. Hi, Thea.
Hey, Chris. I
Hi,
have an update for
Katie.
you.
Hi, Angie. Hi, Andrew. And then do we really have Richard Gusky online tonight? I think this is awesome. Welcome. What up? That's not Andrew. That's
not
Dan.
Andrew.
Is it going to be Andrew and Dan?
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Turbo. Yeah, you need to be quiet, though.
What time is it now? It's 7:02.
Thomas,
Anon. Perfect.
I'm muting us.
Okay. We'll give it a couple of minutes, but greetings. Greetings, everyone.
Let's put our internet connection on the last meeting that we had.
Oh, was it awful slow?
Do you not remember that?
I do remember it was kind of laggy.
It was horrible.
Is everything good with everyone's audio tonight? We might have had a few glitches last week.
Or 2 weeks ago.
Or 2 weeks ago, sorry. Hi, Anon.
Hey.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
We got your whole household now. Richard on
Slowly
the other
but
side of the
surely.
room.
Got my mermaids moved in.
Nice. And a fire roaring. That looks
Yeah.
awesome. Does anyone know of anyone that was planning on coming but hasn't shown up in here yet? Okay. Hi, Sai.
I wanna go over the
The
agenda.
ID is not on the Whitaker open page. That would probably be helpful somewhere for people,
Okay.
just for future. Otherwise, they don't know.
Hi, Sai.
Probably.
Did anyone have anything they wanted
Can I
to?
change this
Chrissy,
for a minute?
no.
Please?
No.
I want
Yes.
This, sorry, guys. I just wanted to post that real quick on the.
Hi, Christy. Did anyone have anything that they needed to add to the agenda, Thea?
I have updates about WJ, EPD, Sarah, the bathrooms at Scoburg, the bathrooms in the parking lot. So whenever you want them.
Okay, so we'll put you up first after public comment. Well, welcome everyone to our general. This is actually our general meeting.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it is our general meeting for the month of October. I appreciate everyone's time. Let's just open it up with any public comment, or does anyone have anything going on that they want to talk about, chit chat, or otherwise let everybody know? Ian.
Hey everyone, my name's Ian. What's up, Andrew? I just got appointed to the police commission. My first meeting was last month. We reviewed the pepperball policy for the city of Eugene and passed an amended version of that at the request of the chief in advance of protests that might happen because of contested election results. The next policy that we're reviewing are impact weapons, control holds, and that includes tear gas. So if anyone has input on that, feel free to reach out to me via Facebook or via my contact info. I'll put my cell phone in the chat. But yeah, if anyone has any other police kind of policy stuff, let me know. I'm going to chat with the chief on Monday. And yeah, the meetings are once a month on the third Thursday. So I'll probably put some notes in the Whitaker Open Neighbors page, just kind of introducing myself, because I'm sure folks have some thoughts about control holds. Those are things like arm bars and pain controls that police officers use.
Chokes.
Yeah, chokes, things like that. The carotid holds, the ones that killed Trevon Martin, are no longer used by the police force, by EPD. But yeah, just wanted to say what's up. If anyone wants to reach out to me about the policies that we're reviewing during the month of October or anything else, y'all can let me know. Cheers.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad that you're able to at least be on the in and give people in our neighborhood. I think we're probably going to get a lot of information on that page. So I think that's cool, Ian. Thank you so much. Katie.
I'll start this with a disclaimer because you guys know I don't particularly like guns, so I am biased, but I was kind of shocked. I'm a member of the Black Unity Facebook page. I was kind of shocked that about a week ago, after they'd had a couple of demonstrations where, you know, the Proud Boys were there with their weapons, they recommended that Black Unity members come armed to their protests. And I just thought that was kind of a bad mix. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Katie, who recommended? The police?
No, one of the Black Unity leadership people.
Oh, okay.
I mean, one of the main leadership people with the Black Unity. I was kind of shocked. Was that a hand, Andrew?
Oh, then, yeah, I think Andrew.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you, Andrew.
Well, one of the things we were noticing a while ago with the shutdowns they're doing in front of Slice and Maisie's, what can we do about getting back on the city about actually shutting that whole area down and making it safer for when we have like big trucks driving through there? I mean, dude, I almost ran over 3 people today coming home, and I saw some big semi truck almost run somebody over. So to me, I mean, you know, that's like counterintuitive to actually like do anything, and it's really not helping. You're getting exhaust blown and people that are walking there. You have no space when you walk down the sidewalk because they now have it pretty much taken off. Now we're getting into winter where people are going to be, you know, even closer and all that. So that's just my general concern with that area. Holly had brought it up earlier. And we, you know, it's getting more carried away with the clutter there and with the big vehicles that are running through. It's just starting to be scary.
I agree. And Andrew, one thing I will say is Brad has started a letter. We haven't talked to him about it, but I think Thea, didn't we have a conversation with will you finish this up for me?
So I spoke with Sarah Maderi and I spoke with Claire, and we're supposed to look into it further. So I'm working on a conversation with Sarah right now, so I will find out where that is, because and Claire brought up the point that it's not safe for anyone in the Whitaker to walk the sidewalk because of COVID. You can't go down the street because there's people standing in the street. So she's requested it. Supposedly Grit's closing at the end of the week.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
So I know on Friday we came through the Whitaker and it looked like a Saturday night party night. There was nowhere to park. There was nowhere to walk in the Whit. It was busy.
Well, Grit doesn't even have any chairs or tables out there. It's Slice and Meiji, so it's still going to be the same people that are out. And I know you guys worked at this already, but it's gotten more and more chaotic now they have everything out there. So
I just need to close it down. Like,
I agree.
Since we're on this subject, I no longer ride my bicycle down Van Buren when I'm going from Polk to Red Barn. I turn left on 2nd, come around onto 4th and in the other end of Red Barn, and pretty much go back the same way. I don't trust bicycle riding through the narrows there.
I wish Brad was here to hear this. He would pull all the hairs off of his knee for that one.
this is the
Ian.
Crap to Brad.
Oh, I was just curious if Grit was closing permanently.
They are. I messaged Ashley and, I thanked her for the years of teaching my daughter. And, I went through the rigmaroles and kind of as a way of being like, are you really closing? And yeah, 100% they are. I didn't ask the reason, but I mean, we might be able to see why.
Well, there's probably a lot of different factors.
And fine dining has taken a real hit.
Yeah.
I mean, Grit's a wonderful place, farm to table, but it's not exactly in everyone's price range. So it might have been really, really difficult to sustain that type of momentum.
No,
I mean, the food was excellent. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just to not relevant to our conversation, but to what you just said. I noticed, I looked at their website the other day to look at their prices, and I noticed that they were all Meiji prices, they're significantly dropped. So I wonder if that did have a huge impact on.
And also, to be honest, I don't know if any of you have been on Instagram, but there is an Instagram called 86 List. How about this? For fear of exposing the plot or whatever else, take a look on Instagram at 86 List.
There's a lot of people saying good things about it. There's a lot of people saying really negative things about it. So.
And I'm not just going to say for that place at all, but it's a really, it's really interesting. I mean, I'm still up in the air about it, but just take a look at it. Grit did take a hit on 86 list too.
Are they closed or are they still open? It
Till the end
sounds
of
like
this
they're
week, I think.
Okay, because their Facebook post from 4 days ago says our final day of service today wraps up an amazing 7 years. So,
Hey,
anyway, yeah, I guess I'll check in with them. Thanks.
I'll be right back.
Sorry, we Andrew, do you hear what we hear? Having some neighborhood issues. It's never a dull moment on Third.
Yeah, I'm on the bike path, and last night there was a couple screaming and trying to kill each other on the bike path.
Yeah, there's somebody yelling.
It's not pretty.
Sorry, I don't know. Thea, go ahead.
You want my update? And Chris can get it later. He can watch the review. Would you guys like my update? I've been nagging Chief Skinner for the last 2 weeks over what's going on at WJ and the Rose Garden. The drug, alcohol, prostitution, the amount of bio waste. There's a couple motorhomes there leaking sewage and gas and other things. And then clothes and fecal matter was piling up. So I've been asking him when they were going to move on it. And word was Parks was going to move on it. And then it was, oh, that's ODOT's property. And I said, but Parks mows it. So then you guys can do something. Basically, the city kind of said, the counselors told EPD that they shouldn't really move anybody. I said, this is hazardous stuff. People can't walk by now because there's fear of catching something besides COVID. And so he says, do you have pictures? So I sent him pictures this week. They moved, the bike chop shop is gone as of today. I also just sent them to Sarah Maderi because I also asked her to take a drive. And I said, it's back. The chief was under the impression because they had cleaned it up and they were gone for what, a day? 2 days? Something like that?
More than 2.
Yeah. He thought they were gone. And I said, no. I said, they come back immediately. I said, you need to stay on top of it. So we had that conversation. Chris had asked me to call about the bathrooms because I think Dan had to go clean up a whole bunch of clothes and fecal matter and needles in the parking lot bathroom. The city still hasn't answered as to who's responsible if something happens there because they didn't ask permission to place it. And WCC is renting the property. So I asked whose insurance covers it if something happens there. And they haven't answered to that. And then I told them that Scoburg Gardens area is not getting cleaned up. They thought the trash cans were doing well. They are telling people in the community that they're supposed to reach out to the community council members if they're not happy. That's what Parks is telling people. And so he said, so why don't you reach out to the community council? And I said, well, I'm calling on behalf of the community council because their chair had asked me to call you because once again, a month ago, we asked you to remove those or keep them clean daily, and you haven't done either. So he's going to have someone get back to me by Friday, and if not, I'm supposed to call him back. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I am in the process of writing a personal letter to all the Lane County commissioners, not from WCC or anything, just personal. Lane County commissioners, city councilors, the mayor, the chief of police, and Sarah Maderi to say, This isn't in your front yard. It's in our yards. It's in our front yards, our side yards. We're being burglarized daily now. It's not even a, it used to be once in a while. Now it's all the time. And they're telling EPD they can't go to camps, so EPD doesn't go to any of the drug camps either, you know, because they can't distinguish between one camp and another. It's not fair. It's right away. And they need to figure something out. This has been going on. I'm writing this almost the same letter I did before, but I'm going to send pictures of the stuff that's over there right now because they wouldn't put up with it in their front yard. They don't have it in their neighborhoods right now. So they're putting us at risk, and they need to get some kind of wet camp that we can have people go to. And supposedly that's happening November 1. Am I correct, Anon?
You're muted, Anon.
Or Ian, have you heard?
I have not heard. I'm sorry.
Okay. So they hope to have the 5 camps, the 5 microsites around town up by November 1 was the last I heard. So, but that still doesn't take issue of where does someone else go? Ian's got his hand up.
Ian?
Thea, do you know if Peter and Reagan have reached out to the community council yet about the expansion of the microsite to the full rest stop?
Nope. No one reached out. No one reached out. And Chris said that the community council meeting on that building that they've been renting for what, 6 months now? That meeting got canceled again. So they're using our tax dollars to pay for a building that they keep canceling the meetings on. That for the community center or whatever they want to put in that by backyard farmer. And everybody does need a place to sleep, but they don't need to be bad neighbors. So, does anyone have anything they'd like me to talk about or ask? I'm happy to put it in my note coming from me or that I've talked to concerned citizens, but this is a personal letter.
Travis?
I'll take notes.
I had my hand up for a while.
Right. Travis, then Holly, then I'm not sure who else had their hands up.
So, I just want to say that even though the bathroom, the trash is being abused, I think it's really important to have it there because there's so many businesses that don't have bathrooms available. I've had to use it before on the way to the grocery store. When I went in, it was clean. They had just cleaned it. And by looking at the dates when they clean them on the door, they're going just about every other day and cleaning them. So at least the one in the parking lot is being cleaned on a regular basis as far as the inside.
Okay,
it's just
good.
the daily amount of debris that's brought from the apartment complexes up the street. Like I was talking to somebody that said people just bring all their trash over there instead of putting it in their dumpsters or whatever, or it's the camp up the alleyway. I haven't really seen the other ones, but I think it's really important that we have bathrooms in our neighborhood.
Yeah, otherwise they go in our yards.
Yeah, the alleyways, and people walk in them and step in it, drag it everywhere. Rain soaks it in the ground. Yeah. So we need to have those.
Thank you. Holly, did you have something else to say?
I just had a question about the micro camps. I've never heard of that before, and I was wondering, you know, what we're doing as a community for all the homeless people, as in like not having them sleep in the park. I mean, because like we're at the Sunday market every week, and there are literally people just like sleeping on the parks, and the kids can't even play. Like families don't even want to go over there. I'm like, I don't really like going over there to like play. I know that maybe sound kind of like mean to like all the people that like sleep there, but like, are there other places for them to sleep? and the micro camp sounds really cool. So I was just like wondering about that.
So they bet the people that go on the micro camps. And I don't even think the one that they have right now by Skinner Garden is full yet. There's 5 units there now, but they want to up it to 20 to 25. And I heard rumor that Catholic Services took it over, but I don't know if that's true or not. And so if there's someone that wants to stay, there's no alcohol or drugs inside the camps. So a lot of the people we're seeing sleeping in the parks aren't going to go. And they're putting, the city just did a big announcement. There's one out in Bertelsen. There's going to be one out by Albertsons on 18th, I think. And then
This is the temporary passway housing that they've been talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
yes.
Okay. I'll show her a bunch more on that. Thank you.
Okay, good. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, so from a health point of view, trying to make sure that, as you were saying, things aren't falling out of the camps and into the rest of the territory around there where they can make people sick. I'm wondering if the city or the county or ODOT or whoever have a plan or will develop a plan to be able to keep things cleaned up, even if those people are still there. So, you know, one thing has to happen or the other. Obviously, we cannot have the buildup of biomatter, which is going to be contagious. The question is, how are they going to deal with that? Are they just going to, you know, flush the people out, or are they going to find some way to clean it up? What are they going to do?
Well, they always bring in, they bring in hazmat and clean it up. It's costing thousands of dollars right now. They'll bring in hazmat to clean up all the clothes and the leaking sewage out of the motorhomes.
Well, if they did it on a regular basis, I wouldn't have any particular problem with that, as long as it was done all the time. I mean, I don't know. What are we going to do? I mean, people do have to be someplace. Obviously, the trash can't be there getting people sick. That's true too. But, you know, something's got to happen where people have to be able to live and they have to not get everybody sick in the process.
I agree, Anon, but it shouldn't be in the kids' skate park or the skate park that was built for people to use.
Well, that's true. That's true enough.
You know, because you can't bring your kids there. I was going to take my nephews there and I wouldn't even get out of my car. And I'm not somebody who's afraid, but I went to drop off some stuff at HIV Alliance, some needles and stuff I found at the box there.
Sure.
And I wouldn't get out of my car 2 weeks ago. This week I just got out and I just gave them the look. I was like, I'm getting out. I'm not. And they were lined up and down on both sides of the street, drinking and shooting up.
Right.
And I'm like,
well,
not
obviously,
okay.
Yeah, sure. There are places where we definitely need things cleared off so kids can be safe. Obviously, I mean that's not a question.
That's an illegal behavior. It's not a.
Right.
It's not a.
Sure.
Camping.
Sure. Yep, I got that. I don't in any way disagree. But there are plenty of other places where we're having similar issues, and we don't really have the kids there. And all we're doing is saying you got to go, but we're not saying where. And yes, they're making a mess, and that can't happen. Absolutely. But you know, I don't know. If they aren't going to build shelter, if they aren't going to build housing, which is what they really should be doing, really, the ultimate solution is housing for everybody. But if they're not going to do that, then they need to clean up the mess.
I have suggested on numerous occasions behind the Cuthbert, there is a service road. There are bridges that get you into city services. You're not that far out. You're not disturbing any neighborhoods. And there is a road.
Cool.
and have a wet camp. But guess
Sure.
what? Our city really doesn't want a wet camp. They say they do, but they don't.
Yeah, it's interesting because they were just talking today on NPR about how because of COVID and all the stress everybody's under, alcohol usage has gone up. And they mean that among the general population, us, right? Well, it hasn't gone down for people who are without housing either. They're they're certainly under as much stress as the rest of us. So there you go. I mean, yeah, I'm not really happy about them doing it in public, but where else are they going to do it? I mean, if I didn't have a house, I'd probably be doing that too. So there you go.
I personally think you should be able to have a beer or a glass of wine in the park.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to raps on, but you know, it's honestly, seriously, I think we need to work on some way to raise revenue and build housing. I mean, the stuff with the camps, it's all very well and good, but they don't even want to do that. I mean, there was an idea that came out of the 1988 Governor's Conference on Aging, where they proposed a property tax that was indexed to income. So low and middle income people would never have to pay it. It'd just be for, basically it's a wealth tax for people who are high income and had very valuable property. You get the money from them and you build housing. You know, we could put that on a ballot and we could pass that. And then we could just build the damn housing. That's what's got to happen.
But
And how many of those people do you think would go into housing?
A lot of them. A lot of them. I mean, if they had their own place, they'd be happy to go into it. There are a few. There's, what was it the cops have said? 10%, right, are really causing us serious trouble. But that's 90% who aren't.
Correct.
Right? So that's 90% of the problem. You get taken care of. And here's the thing is, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. There's a lot of people who are in housing right now that won't be. We need to build low-income housing because a lot of people, especially with the economy as it is, aren't going to be able to stay where they're at. This problem is only going to get much bigger.
Yep.
And the longer people stay out of doors, the more likely they're going to get PTSD, the more likely they're going to become, they're going to have difficulties of their own, which will show up as antisocial behavior just from the stress, if nothing else. So, you know, I don't know. I think I agree we need to deal with all these things, but these things are very small. We need to really look bigger.
That one good point at the meeting today between the city council and the county commissioners, I think it was one of the county commissioners did bring up that there's a nationwide grant pool that targets creating homes for the homeless. And he was saying, you know, Eugene Springfield is a perfect target for that. And so
Yeah.
hopefully somebody will look into that and try to pull in some money from them.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Stephen?
It seems like for decades, communities have been relying on federal funds for building housing or supporting housing. And that spigot kind of almost got turned off. And what's coming now is a fraction of what used to come. So I think Anand's point is true that communities have to start grappling with the idea that the funding for affordable housing, low-income housing has got to come from the community itself through a mechanism like property tax. We can no longer depend on it coming from Washington, D.C. since everything has changed in recent years. Even with the new administration, I doubt whether that spigot's going to be turned on again.
Sorry, I think Travis has been waiting to talk for a minute. I promised him a chance to talk and I've gotten distracted. I'm sorry.
I've been talking recently with his name's Tano, and he's He's an older gentleman that's unhoused in the neighborhood that just sits on the walker. He's like pretty put together. He doesn't bother anybody. He just needs a place to live. And I was talking to my neighbors. They just cleared out a side of their yard and they want to put in like a Quonset hut for somebody. They tried to call whoever was doing the Quonset hut building. I forget, it was housing coalition or housing something.
Community supported
Does anybody
shelters.
know who it was?
Community supported shelters.
Yeah, community supported shelters.
You put us on the-
Yeah, although they're probably working on another side. This guy Tano, he said he's already been through the mission. He's already been through the services that are out there, and now he's just been on the street for 2 years. His brother died. He needs to get an ID and get his bank account settled up because he's like, I have $800 in food stamps. I have like money in a Visa, but they won't give it to me. And like, it really sucks because he's put together. He's just old. You can tell he's worked a long time and he never bothers anybody. So if you guys see him out there, say hi to him and be cool. Like, he's a really nice guy.
Travis, is he the gentleman that sleeps beside the old Trackside Auto?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. So is this something that, oh, I'm sorry, Anand, just 1 second. Is this something that we could have Whitebird help him with? Like he needs an ID, he needs an address. Are those two things that are needed?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because I think that is something Whitebird can help him with. But
think so, too.
I'll get more information. Anand, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The other thing is if he's older, he might be able to get assistance from Senior and Disabled Services for doing the sort of things. Maybe they could work together with Whitebird to provide other services or things that he needs. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, because he needs an address, I know, and I know that that's an impediment to a lot of people.
Right.
So, this is a perfect example of, we're not going to be able to solve a huge crisis, but if we can chip off one at a time, two at a time, a small bit at a time, we're doing something in the right direction. So
sorry, I'm good to add on to what you're saying. It takes us all like utilizing all of our resources and like all of our knowledge and our power and what we can do to like put into it. So
what I'm saying is, okay, right now we've identified a need. We've identified one person. Let's work towards this goal. And then move, you know what I mean? This is something, if we talk about it next week, we talk about it 3 weeks from now, we're still going to be like, oh yeah, tell that guy hi, give him some food. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Stephen.
It just for another piece of optimism, the buildings that's planned behind our place where we were discussing the easement with what used to be NEDCO. We're now at the stage of reviewing a draft memorandum of understanding. So things are moving along there. Our attorney is involved with that. And the end of that process can mean 12 additional places for 12 additional people in the neighborhood.
Yay. And I think this is part of, what we're trying to do. We are moving forward with trying to house people one at a time. Andrew, go ahead.
What about something like my neighbor did? He set up a little area in his back corner. He had just an extra little crap box area. He let him in, built a little fence back there. He's got his own like mini area, and it's one of those kind of things that I have the extra area. We were talking about doing it in the back of the house, but I live next door to Dan, who already has 2 people there. For me, it's like adding that many more people to an area. It creates a lot of chaos, and people start bringing other people. But seeing what's happened with my other neighbor, it looks like it's working well, and it also it's not any skin off anybody else's back. It's just an extra corner of it. What about something to start some sort of initiative to start having those kind of things? Because we live in an area that have big lots, and a lot of time they're just overgrown with blackberries.
Yeah, and like I said, I told the gentleman who's living in my backyard I wouldn't use him as like an advertisement or anything like that. But yes, I did do that. I do have a gentleman that's living in my backyard. I have provided him electricity. I just got him a toilet and a sink. And so it can be done, but it's not, I'm not doing it so that I can guilt anyone into doing it. I'm also not doing it so that I can get likes or I'm cool or but it's just one person. That's the only thing I couldn't deny is that what Angie, is your kitty attacking you? But this is the one thing that I think that, you know, as a collective group, we don't have to have them in our backyard. But like this gentleman that Travis has identified, you know, we can't solve these issues. And it provides just one person to help, and then we move on. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it.
Can I just something to say about that too? When we do it that way, when we find somebody and we like kind of pick them out, like that's kind of combating like some of the issues that we've identified before, like with like we want to help people that are part of this neighborhood and have been here and that like we're with, and we're not just trying to help people that just get shipped off here. And like, because that's been a huge concern from some of the neighbors, is that like people are just coming here. So helping the people that we've known for a while and making sure that they get the place, like we're really helping the people that are here and that are on the streets and that are kind of staples within the community. But we're also then I lost my train of thought. Squirrel.
That's okay. So no, you know, I don't know how we can proceed in the future with this, but what I think with this one gentleman is let's use him as the first person, not let's identify him as the first person. Maybe that sounds a little bit better. But and it doesn't have to be anything major. It's just we have connections with certain people. We have street cred. We all have friends. And I think that if we could introduce him to some of our friends, and it might be easy. Thea, do you have your hand up? I'm sorry.
Well, if he was at the mission, they might be able to help him get his ID much faster.
Okay.
Because they have records of that. So
he's already been through the mission process and everything.
Doesn't Catholic Community Services help with ID stuff too? I think.
Well, how about this? On our neighborhood, our Whitaker board page, we can all throw some ideas out and keep this idea going. I don't mind, Travis, if you would want to, maybe you and I could do some outreach to this gentleman, maybe on Friday. Because I think the time is like right now, where the rains are coming. This gentleman is, and nothing, I'm not an ageist. This gentleman is probably over 65 years old. He's living out in the elements. He doesn't have a tent. He doesn't really even have a raincoat. He puts a blanket over his head. And I see him, he's the same one I see every morning. And I always want to stop thinking he might be. And, you know, it's, I go to work and I'm like, why didn't I stop just to shake him to see if he was. So, you know, I think this might be the time to do one thing, you know. I'm not going to keep saying that one thing, but so on our neighborhood page, if this is okay with everyone to throw out ideas but I mean, let's help this guy. I mean, we're having a real problem trying to help all the people in the park. But if we can identify this one gentleman who, I mean, he's grown on our neighborhood. He's our neighbor. You know, I know where he lives. I see him every morning. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah,
he's never harassing anybody. He's never like out there with the other, you know, people who are using drugs. He's just by himself. His brother died 2 years ago and he lost his house and everything, and he's just on the street.
All right. Well, I'm Travis, I'm really appreciative of you having that compassion. I really am. I mean, this is why we're a team. I mean, it really is freaking hard to help people. We get compassion fatigue. I mean, I have been suffering from it, but what I'm going to do now is try to narrow my focus a little bit. Where are we at on our agenda? Forgive me for having to take a little hiatus. I had some altercations with two neighbors that was just a little unsavory, and it was hopefully it's going to rectify itself. Did we go through the updates?
Yeah, that's what you
And the
missed.
mailer?
No, not the mailer. We're gonna talk about. Well, we should talk about the mailer first because that's gonna take less time.
Okay.
So can I change seats with you?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So the mailer, I figured it's about time. So I'm not sure. I'm assuming that you guys didn't get a chance to look at it. So I will share my screen. Hopefully I don't mess this up.
I had a question. I wonder if it will get out early enough to make a difference for, I love having the election, like how to vote little manual on there, but will
Yeah.
it get out early enough to?
If we can finalize it this week, yes, it will.
Okay.
Usually it takes about 5 to 7 business days. So if we can finalize it like tomorrow, then it would probably be out by like the 27th. So it would be like a week before election day, which isn't a whole lot of time, but I figured it's still important enough that, so, but that is something, let me share my screen. So I put together this little, can you guys all see what I'm, so yeah, so this is what I put together. The one half is intentionally, that's blank, that's where the address goes and all that fun stuff. This Lane County, I figured, so I kind of broke it up into sections. With the first section, this section being all about voting for the US election. I thought that it's not something that we talked about, but I figured it was something that we shouldn't be encouraging everybody in the Whitaker to vote in the US election, and providing information to it if we can. And then
Vote yes on 110.
we can't actually advocate for any sort of anything as far as who to vote for or what to vote for, but yeah, so that was just, this was all the information that I could kind of think of for relative voting information. And then the other half, simplified COVID information, Whitaker board, and then one thing that Chris had been talking about that I didn't recall what we had actually decided, which is also in this meeting that we're planning on talking about, is having Whitaker Community Council elections, because we haven't done that yet. So yeah, so this was just kind of, any input would be really awesome.
That has our Zoom info on it.
It does have our Zoom info on it.
And we're gonna put our election on there.
Yes, the election is taking up, but I don't know how we're gonna do elections, so that's,
Well, like, are we muted?
no.
Like I well, hello. Katie, would you, I remember at one time you had suggested that you and Annika would be able to work together with ascertaining who is eligible to vote.
But I think part of the thing is that before, like, we have to put out a mailer that gives people the opportunity to join another meeting before they vote. Like, that's part of the announcing an election part, is giving people the opportunity.
Is it on?
In here somewhere.
It says, look, he's
So we'd have to send this out in October and then have the vote in November.
yeah,
Or
because
something like,
you
yeah.
need 60 days to alert the populace.
I think that's like best. Yeah.
I think well, it's not that I think that, it is in our charter.
Yeah. Oh, 60 days, not 30.
I thought it said 30 days.
It might be 30 days, but I think that it's generally like a.
And I know
good
that
idea.
we did announce it at the meeting, but we still had that little hiccup with how we're going to get the people. And then I think that you guys were going to work together to make sure we had the names of the people that are eligible. And also, you know, to tell you the truth, it does give people more time to be eligible to vote, you know,
Yeah.
if they want to. And
I think that's the key thing
and that's really what we
especially-
want. You know, I mean, we're really trying to increase the number of people that are having input in this body. So, I mean, whatever we can do.
Yeah, so sorry.
I'm
just
sorry.
reading
I
the
thought
chat.
Annika was going to say something.
No, I want to respond. Yes, Andrew, unfortunately, we can't promote any sort of political. I mean, we can promote voting in general, but we can't. I don't know the rules of that, but I think because
we're a nonprofit.
Because we're a nonprofit, but we can also have a subcommittee that is more politically active. There's like there are rules about it, but they're really weird. But anyway,
Remember, it
point
was
is-
called the Wolf Pack. Remember,
Yeah.
Justin Vandahar started our
political
action committee. It was called the Wolf Pack or something like that. It
Yeah.
was really cute.
That's actually.
I mean, it was great in name. We needed
It-
some more substance to it.
Yeah. All meat, no potatoes, right?
Wolf Pack. It was. We should do that again. Somebody should take up that.
And then so I mentioned about putting the closest drop-off box, and I think that's probably a good idea for the elections.
So one thing about elections has nothing to do with political. Can I just say? Something?
Well, we have two different elections. So
No, I'm just talking about our elections, the one that we're going to put in here. Do you think that any of our neighbors in the Whitaker might feel afraid to drop their ballot off? Do you think that's a topic that we might need to approach, just due to the fact that, you know, we seem to have maybe some intimidation that's going on with our elections? You know, do you think that there's going to actually be intimidation near the polling stations or the drop boxes that would prohibit any of our neighbors from participating? I'm just wondering. I mean,
I think if any of that happens, it's more likely to be downtown because it would be specifically to be a show, right?
Right.
I don't think anything like that's going to happen in Whitaker because we just don't
this
matter
is
that much.
Dropbox, though. Yeah, Cy, go ahead.
Given that Oregon is not a battleground state, I can't imagine that anyone's going to really care to sort of make that happen. And Eugene is sizable, but it's not Portland where there's been a lot more agitation. So I would be surprised.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, Andrew?
Yeah, we've been doing mail-in voting for like 20 plus years. Our system is pretty well in point. We don't really have too many issues with it. You know, you can mail it from your actual mailbox. You can drop it in mailboxes. So Oregon's not one of those kind of places. There's like 5 or 6 other places that have it, and they have like the least amount of voter fraud, the largest turnouts. That's, you know, I mean, one of the issues that everybody's having with it. So yeah.
I just wanted to throw it out there just in case anyone had heard, you know, maybe people, felt intimidated or.
So I guess with that question too, then what kind of other information do you think would be relevant on the sort of election section of our mailer? Do we want to put all Dropbox locations? Because the 10th and that's not that close to here.
You could just add a simple thing. You have contact Lane County Elections. You have their address.
Yeah.
You could just put a little blurb in that that's the closest drop box.
Yeah, that is by far the closest Dropbox.
Yeah.
How far is the one on River Road at Emerald Park?
I just know that like when I was going to the U of O like a lot more often, that was actually more convenient for me because I was actually there. So if people are working, I mean, I guess that's a question with COVID too, but if people are working, maybe this one isn't the closest for them. But yeah, I'll just contact Wayne County Emotions.
Or use the Dropbox. Yeah.
That's a good. This is great. You guys can see exactly what I'm. Okay. So I'll have to play around with stuff on that. But any other information that you guys think would be relevant on this part?
I think for election day, you should maybe put the day of the week too. Just be real clear.
Tuesday.
Yeah. So
What
people
about
don't
days?
go, oh, Wednesday. I thought today was the 3rd. Old people like me.
What about days that you have to submit by?
What was that?
And it says this thing going to go out too late for it to be here. Make sure you have it submitted by these days for your ballot to be.
That's
submitted.
what I'm saying. If we can get it out tomorrow, then it'll probably be out like mailed by the 27th. Like it'll be in people's homes by the 27th. So I'll have another week. So assuming that it's in people's hands on the 27th, what's the mail-in, like recommended mail-in deadline? Should we put that on there? Because isn't there a date where they say if it's after this date, you gotta.
Yeah. Let me Google it real quick and I'll ask.
Whatever we can cram on this, that is helpful for people to vote. I think we're doing our part.
If we can really stress that the postmark doesn't mean anything, and maybe bold that sentence or something, because people think that if they get it postmarked by election day, it's good enough. You've mentioned it in the sentence, but it needs to really stand out.
So wait, it needs to be postmarked by election day, or it needs to be.
The fact that the postmark doesn't really mean anything. It's got to be received by.
It has to be in, yeah.
They're saying the 28th, Annika.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wednesday, the 28th is the last day. So if this isn't going to get to everybody till the 27th.
Well, it's still important if people get
Oh,
it on the 27th to know that they can't mail in their ballot after that date.
I agree.
Okay.
They don't mail it after the 27th.
So maybe we should, make that kind of highlighted or.
Looks
bold.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Not do not. You cannot. Or whatever you want. But.
It should be after the 20. It should be after the 27th, not 28th.
Okay.
Or your ballot will not count if you don't mail it.
Use Dropbox. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good.
So this looks kind of ugly as is, but I can do some formatting and figure it out. I'm just content-wise. Anything else you guys?
I have something.
What's up, Richard?
Down at the lower next page down, a little editing piece here. WCC will resume to their previous schedule. That's not proper. It should be either WCC will resume their previous schedule or WCC will return to their previous schedule, but they will not resume their previous schedule.
I like resuming their previous schedule. That's less wordy. Thank you.
Yeah, really. God, that's the only thing you've
All
ever.
right, mute him now. Mute him. Don't let him. I had to run in the other room and mute him.
I said we welcome Richard to this meeting. This is awesome.
I could not help myself. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Thank you.
So maybe for the WCC elections, maybe we should post a list of who is currently on the board and just say that additional nominees will be added on election day. Yes, something like that.
That sounds good.
So are we just voting in Zoom?
We have to.
Okay.
I mean, I don't, Ian.
Other neighborhood associations have held a mix of in-person and Zoom voting. So you have one person allowing people to just raise their hands and counting votes that way. Or you can collect ballots from people in person.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. The only thing with our election too is the amount of people that can actually vote is going to be pretty small. You know, one, just due to COVID, and two, just due to the number of the people that would come to the meetings that since the previous year. So I think we have to target those people, you know, whether it be with a direct mail or with emails, because we do have everyone's emails also.
Well, we should
Yeah, I
probably
think
do
we
it
could do an email,
Okay.
an email reminder. Yeah.
So can you, Annika and I, Katie, talk about getting an email together and then, okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, so do we want to say, because I thought it would be nice for like to try and convince people to join or to do this, to like say some of the cool things that we're doing, but I was so brain dead today where I was like, I'm not even sure if this is a good idea. Thea?
I think what Anon and Ian have been working on should be on there somewhere.
Yeah.
That's
I
pretty
just
major.
didn't know how to I know what they're working on. I can't put it in concise sentences.
Maybe you guys could give us a little blurb, and then Travis, will you give us a blurb about the
Dubcat?
Well, not just Dubcat, but the free wall, you know, because that's something that's important that's been going on. So maybe think about something like that, blurbs for all the things that we've been doing.
Like the elevator pitch. Have you heard of it before? No.
No.
Okay. The 30-second little thing to convince people to do what you're doing. So if you could write in like 3 sentences what people need to know to join your subcommittees and to.
I mean, look at the other thing that we did. I mean, we've housed what, 5 people? We're on board for housing 20 more or 15 more. We are also the largest homeless camp in this town. I mean, why not? We are. I mean, we are really the largest homeless camp in this town. I mean, the tolerance that we have here has allowed us to have rampant camping throughout our neighborhood. I mean, hey, let's look at it as a pleasant thing. You know, we're finding a place for people to go when the city is not providing them any place. I see the shake your head. I am being a little tongue in cheek in that too, but you know, I also go ahead. I'm sorry.
When you're done, I have there's some renter assistance coming available. Does anyone know anyone that needs help with rent? Blaine County's giving out renter assistance this Friday. I just received an email.
Yeah, everybody's. I think that's a great idea. Why not? That's a perfect thing to put on there.
Well, no, it won't fit on there because it's happening this Friday, Chris.
Damn it. All right, so.
Can we make a Facebook post about it?
Didn't
yeah.
already?
Let me share your screen. I can show. Let me see. I might be able to copy and paste.
I think there was something on the Whitaker neighbor page.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Now that we have the WCC and the Open Neighbors page linked up, we can post stuff from the WCC to the Open Neighbors page, and it makes it look a lot more official.
And if it could happen once a day until we get to Friday, just to keep it at the top.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. Does somebody else want to do it? Would somebody be willing to?
Dan said he'd do it.
Kelly's gonna send me the link and I'll post it to the Whitaker group.
Well, I can get you hooked up as if you are interested, I can get you hooked up.
Just say yes.
Community account. Okay. We'll talk.
Yes,
Dan, we'll talk.
So I just posted in the chat so that everyone can see it, all the information.
I can't see it.
Well, maybe I have to hit send. There you go.
Go ahead.
Had to hit enter. Sorry, guys.
So
It
Thea,
has,
I'm really happy that you brought this up because, you know, we do spend a large amount of time focusing on COVID and the unhoused. We also probably need to put the people that are struggling with rent, you know, in our crosshairs again too.
That's, I mean, that's preventative work for what we're talking
Yep.
about.
Yes.
So-
well, you know that Opportunity Village here at the end of Polk, not Opportunity Village, what's it called?
Emerald Village.
Emerald Village. They still have spots for places to be built. They still have houses that need to be finished. You know, so there
That's good
could
to
be
know.
people housed there,
Yeah.
you know?
You know what, the challenge that I'm having here is like, who are we going to tap to do that? You know, what they did is they got all the big contractors in town to donate. How could
Right, but
we do
several of
that?
the contractors didn't finish their houses, so that's why it's not totally full.
What?
Yeah, there are houses that are unfinished there that need finished. So as a neighborhood, we could see if they could go in and finish them because,
That's
you
a
know,
good
nobody
idea.
I was on the original
The board, yeah.
interview committee and
Yeah.
nobody from the Whitaker applied for that housing. No
I
one.
remember we tried to get Wade in there, remember?
I know.
We bent over backwards and tried to get him in there.
And
Hey,
even on the
it's not for
second
lack
round,
of
no one
trying.
from the neighborhood did.
Yeah, it's not for lack of trying.
That community is part of our Know Your Neighbor emergency response group at that end of Polk. They put forward their community room as the gathering center for the North Polk area after any crisis happens. So they're thoroughly integrated into our north end of Polk.
That's
cool.
awesome. Yeah.
Good.
That is cool.
We had our meeting there several months ago.
Hey, Stephen, would you be able to dialogue with them and see like if there is one unit that and what it needed to get finished? Could this be part of our housing one person, you know?
Well, the unit that's most visible is when you walk down the alley from North Polk to get over to Grand. It's just on the other side of the fence there. It's been proceeding very, very slowly and progress seems to have stopped on that particular unit. So if we can find out what's holding up completion of that unit, I can bring that information back. So yeah, I'll get that information. I won't volunteer to be the intermediary between WCC and the whole Evergreen, but I will find out about that one unit.
Okay. I love that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I mean, I just feel awkward going over there and being like, hi, I'm Chris Gadsby, blah, blah, blah.
That makes you feel awkward.
Not usually. I do that all the time, but Monica brought something up. What is it now?
I said call it your Housing One initiative.
Housing One initiative, you know?
Cool.
Maybe that could be our thing, you know, house one person. So I don't know. Let's start with a manageable figure right now. And then we can just proceed to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Cool.
What else is on our agenda?
The elections and all of that.
Oh, so the elections. Well, before we finish up, I had some information from Reagan and Peter, who are in our city manager's office. And I just wanted to share it with you before I talk to them about what they would like me to do. They want to start conducting neighborhood outreach to talk about the expansion of Skinner Farm. Skinner Farm is what I'm considering, you know, our neighborhood housing 5 people. That's going to enlarge to 20 people.
Wow.
I think it's great. I'm 100% for it. The one thing that I'm a little hesitant right now is going out, making sure everyone in the neighborhood knows the people from the city and what we're doing and like using our street cred and this and that when we have a real problem like leading up to the Skinner Farm. We have camping, and we have some very unsavory behaviors that are happening all around there that are not being addressed by the city.
Right.
So one of the things that I'm having trouble with is going to the neighbors and saying, look what we're doing. This is helping people. And then all of a sudden the neighbors are like, what do you mean? You have like 20 people camping over here. You have a bike chop shop that's, you know, right over to the left of the freeway. You have people that are selling drugs right out in front of my house. And so we don't have a commitment from the city or EPD to keep our quote unquote campsite free of these distractions that are probably going to take people's energy and focus away from what we're really trying to do. And it's going to highlight all of the bad activities from quote unquote campers. And I'm not trying to say that what people are doing is bad, because living outside is not an easy thing. You do whatever the hell it takes to get by, you know, and I'm not discounting that. And I'm certainly not trying to demonize those people that are living there. Personally, it is sometimes really offensive, some of the things that go on. And also personally, I have put myself out there to try to help people. So I'm a little confused at where I should stand, you know, because as a board, I'm going out there as your chair to talk to the neighbors. I'm not just talking to them because I'm Chris Gadsby. You know, you guys have allowed me to be your chair, and I would really like to understand where everyone's at on that. You know, we may not be a seated board right now, but we're a bunch of concerned neighbors. And, you know, I don't want to lie to people, and I don't want to use whatever our street cred as the WCC to force this on them, you know, or to guilt them into being like, oh, great idea, I won't oppose it. But hey, what about all these other people that they're not doing? You know, how about all of these other behaviors? How about the fact that nobody has a bathroom to go to, you know? So I see you, Andrew. But I mean, just, I want to email her back, but if anyone else would like to be a part of this and to maybe go and meet the neighbors all around that site, which right now during COVID, it's kind of fucked. You know, I mean, most people don't want you at their door. And if you're not there to give them a pizza, or, you know, they don't want you at their door talking about shit that, you know. So I would love to have some company and maybe some input on what you guys think, because you still be quiet. But what I'm really thinking is, you know, this is housing for people. I do not want any negativity to be broadcast to the neighbors around there, because truthfully, that's an awesome spot to house more people, you know, than 20. I mean, it's a large area. It's like a little village.
My friend lives like
Catherine,
right there,
Katie.
so I know a good chunk of the neighbors. So I'm more than willing to go and talk with people,
Cool.
especially us, like 3 or 4 of them we already know and talk to.
Nice. I think our selling point is just that the more of these that we can set up that work, the less we're going to see of that on the street. And, you know, I mean, yeah, it's a messy street right now, but that's what we're working towards, and that's what this is doing.
I agree.
You know, eventually.
Yeah.
It's true, we can't make promises, but that's the goal.
So on that,
Hold on, Andrew. Ian, and then Andrew.
I was wondering if you had a chance to talk to Reagan and Peter about the resource center when they reached out to you, and also about the enforcement around Skinner City Farm, because there's quite a few folks camping within like maybe 200 feet.
I know, and I did. And, you know, when you had messaged me recently in regards to that meeting where they did decide to open up the Skinner's Farm as a rest stop, I had no input in that at all. What was really bizarre is I thought that I was being invited to a meeting around that, and then it just turned out to be listening into the city council meeting. So just to be honest with you, once again, and I'm not trying to to be negative, but once again, they did not even consult with our council about what they were going to do until they brought it to the city council. So, and forgive me for laughing about this, but it's the exact same thing that happened last time, you know, but I did. And yeah, Ian, just to further that question, I did. And I also told them, look at the resource center behind there. There's people already camping. There's, I don't know. I mean, you know, this is what causes us compassion fatigue. Trying to help people and trying to navigate within the city is very difficult. You know, and Ian, on that, Andrew, I'm sorry, go ahead before I start talking too much. Okay, he's not listening. Okay.
I'm back, hold on. So I'm gonna kind of change the subject a touch, but I forgot to hit on this earlier with this compassion. On the 30th, Holly's doing a benefit for Cahoots at Blair Alley. It's like a burlesque benefit. And I was just wondering if there was other people or organizations that we'd be better off donating that to, or setting up these kind of benefits for than Cahoots. Cahoots has been the best that we've dealt with. So, you know, I generally want to do them. Well, fuck you guys. Nobody wants to see. I got words, man. So yeah, I was just wondering if anybody had any other alternatives or anything that would be better than Cahoots to get funding for those kind of events, because we're going to try to do big social distance events. You know, there's a lot of space that's available, and as long as we're actually being right about it. The car wash was a big hit. Nobody got COVID, and we raised $1,400 for Cahoots in one day. So, you know, we have a good outreach and we were able to do it, but I want to know, like, is this the right thing that we should be doing for it? Anybody else have any ideas, or just keep going with it? Because I'm going to keep going with it.
Personally, I think always like Whitebird is a little bit more inclusive than Cahoots, because Cahoots is like a part of Whitebird. So like for me, like thinking about like, I mean, just to make it more, not more inclusive, but like more tasteful, because that hits more taste, I guess, almost to say. Because they do a lot more than just Cahoots. But I think you should look and see what the Eugene Weekly does the best of, because they're doing the best of. I know that's, but right now, like, if you want to see what people think, like, that's.
I mean, I personally, I think, you know, wherever people put money to helping people is going to benefit. You know, it benefits all of us. So, you know, your comfort level with what you're going to do. I like Whitebird. I mean, I'm just using them because they have such a wide net of the people that they help and what they go off of. I don't know. What I want to jump back for a second real quick. Ian, you know, our committee, quote unquote, and I just want to fill everyone in. Ian and I are on a committee that is trying to develop, I would say, maybe the metrics and the focus of what the new resource center is going to be. We have been in committee. I'm trying to think. Has it been 3 months with only 2 meetings? 2 meetings. And then Ian and I had a subsequent meeting with a business owner. So I am having some serious trouble right now with the participation that we're giving. And I'll just pimp you out a little bit, Ian. Ian also elected to assist with some metrics and some outcomes, and like went above and beyond anything that the city has actually done at the moment. And our latest meeting just got canceled again. So we have been paying rent on this building since January, February. And we have not done not one thing. We have not housed anybody. We have not used resources for anybody. and we have paid out the ass for that building. So our participation in this is to help our neighborhood. What is it that we're really doing to help our neighborhood with this resource center if we can't even get it off the ground? And we have a community member, a WCC member that will do their fucking work for them, and we still don't have a meeting about it, you know? I mean, I'm frustrated to the point where, you know, and I'll just tell you, you know, a lot of these things that Ian is proposing to them are not something that's a cut and paste. You know, this takes a lot of time, effort, thought, and our personal time, like his personal time. So when we, as a board, have someone who gives the city kind of what they need to develop this, or at least start it, and they cancel our goddamn meeting, I mean, I just don't know what to do. You know, I don't want to quit because, you know, that's expected. You know, you get frustrated, you quit. But I don't know what more we can do. You know, if we offer to do their jobs for them, we give them, am I talking too much? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Christy.
Sorry, hold on. Is this the same entity that put the Conestoga HUDs in without consulting anyone?
Oh.
Okay.
That was a city manager's office that was working with us and through community supported shelters. This is the city manager's office working with, we don't even know who. They don't even have, what is it called, an RFP? There's no provider right now. But that building still, there's no build out. It's
sorry, does everybody know what Chris is talking about? What building
he's paying rent on it?
The one right next door to the backyard farmer. I am so sorry that I didn't clarify that.
The one that they said was going to be a resource center, like back in March, and then...
a year ago. Yeah.
So just to be clear, if it is a complete fucking shit show right now, what the hell do we think is going to happen when they open that thing? Do you really think they're going to be able to police the people that are in the park? Do you think that they're going to be able to police the people that are camping all around that building? Do you think that they're going to be able to assist the sheer number of people that are in need in our neighborhood? I don't. But that's why I don't want to give up and I don't want to quit, because we have to try to shape this in a way that's conducive for the house and the unhoused. And also, like Ian has even told them, I mean, we don't have any metrics on what's going to be our success there. We don't even know what we're going to do there. And we keep shutting down having these meetings. And I don't know if these meetings are just a joke and a farce and they already have something planned, which is in the back of my mind already, you know, just like they did with the Skinner farm. And just, so at a certain point, I'm wondering, do we oppose them having this there? Just because, I mean, Ian, what do you think? I'm beside myself sometimes with this.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you thought from. I don't know. I don't think opposing is going to stop them. But I don't know. I'd be interested to hear. I'm meeting with Jason next week.
Good.
He and I are getting coffee, so I think he seems like a pretty reasonable person, and I just need to ask him like what's going on, because I've had the same feeling that you have, Chris.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Like, I mean, I had a meeting with him like a year and a half ago, and I felt really positive.
That's his job.
And that is his job. he just like Peter, they are good at their job sometimes. Richard, I'm sorry.
Let me just make a comment, if I may. There was a meeting today of the TAC committee, committee of the city council and the county commission. It's recorded and worth looking at. I think you should maybe take a look at that. The second thing is that not too long from now, they're going to open those 50-unit housing project out on Martin Luther King Boulevard. We need to be sure that we have some leverage to get our people into that project. And that can only be done by talking to people like the brand new staff person that the city has for homeless issues. I don't remember her name, but she's a firecracker. So there are some places we can turn to take up a bit of it. The problem with the place next to the farmer's shop is that it can't be used under the problem with the illness. It's just too tight.
True. You're exactly right. I mean, they can't house people there. It's the back portion of it is not able to be used. I mean, there's thousands of square feet I think it's probably because they don't have sprinklers, but it was probably a place for a warehouse. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
They have no money.
Yeah, I know. So these are some really important things that are happening to us, because that place is probably going to open up. We don't know what the hell is going to happen, but have we all been to Washington Jefferson Street Park recently?
Yes.
There is obvious need there. I mean, one way of looking at it is like, man, this is a problem in our neighborhood. This really sucks. And all these people, but the other part of it is these are human beings and we have no place for them to go. You know, we have allowed Washington Jefferson Street Park to become what it is right now. And it also has become a huge, huge level of anxiety for people that are there, because the cops keep rousting them and then allowing them to come back without a place to go. So,
and the rousting just means getting rid of all their shit.
And the rousting, and that's part of like my challenge with like working with Black Unity or other entities. We have this huge black hole. We're pouring all this stuff in, and then what are we doing with it? You know, I mean,
it's not solving
we give out 40 some tents. How many of those tents were thrown away when the cops came? I don't know. You know, how many of those people were right back there the last time the police came through and got rid of them? Obviously, all the people that are there now. You know, this is a never-ending cycle. You know, we have an increase in property crime. We have an increase in all types of things that are going on in this neighborhood. And instead of demonizing all these people, we have no way of helping them. We have no way of finding them housing, and they're constantly going to be in our neighborhood. I mean, how do we identify this? Do we use this resource center to try to funnel people? You know, I'm having a real tough time, like trying to help the city right now when I don't feel that the people that are living in these neighborhoods are being helped, because I don't want to demonize the house. You know, just because you have a house in this neighborhood, you know, I want to help you as much as I can help anybody else. Okay, I'm talking too much. Sorry, Thea.
So what about, come talk with me later. I have a few ideas on that, Chris. I don't know like the right outlets to kind of like bring it up, and I make an ass of myself enough that I'll wait till after we've talked about it to bring it up.
You've been good. Thea hasn't said anything about you yet.
Yeah, we're still here talking. Yeah, no, that's been something Holly and I've been talking about a lot lately. You know, she goes out, she walks around a lot more than I know most people that do in the neighborhood, and sees where they're at, see what they're doing. And that whole like no drug thing is a big incentive to keep people out of these housings. But the fact that everybody's just putting their tents right by the Skinner farm, it to me is just creating a more of a problematic situation. So I have some ideas, but I'm not going to ramble like you and talk about it now. We'll talk about it personally.
Katie.
I have a question. I don't want to change the subject. I don't know if this is on the agenda tonight, but I'm wondering what's happening with the COVID money, Ian, and masks and proceeding with that. So maybe if that can come up before we quit.
Yeah, I was wondering.
That's a
the
good
same thing, Ian.
segue to get me out of talking about this shit. Yeah. I don't know. Where is Anon? Is Anon here?
He just left.
Oh, poop. Uh-oh, Ian. They put you on
Ian's
the spot.
here. Ian, you're our man.
Yeah, so Anand and I meet on Mondays. Anyone's more than welcome to join us. We meet from 1 to 2. Anand and I will be bringing 2 things to the board next Wednesday for a vote. And I can provide him a couple of days in advance, probably after Anand and I meet on Monday the 19th. So that's like 2 days in advance of the board. We're going to bring 2 things. One thing that we're going to bring is an outcomes, goals, and indicators document for how we're going to measure success. And the second thing we're going to bring is a Teams document of the breakdown of who in the community, who on the board wants to be on certain teams. We need help with procuring things. We need help with sending out communications materials, designing communications materials. Anand and I are setting up a meeting with University of Oregon's Health and Human Services department, as well as the fraternity department. Anand and I are designing the survey instruments for each of the 4 groups. And then we're also developing the contracts for each of the 4 groups, and everything we're going to bring to the executive board for a vote before we move forward with it. So I've got 1,200 masks in my house right now, KN95s that are from the state of Oregon. But Anand and I want to do 2 things before we have folks hand them out. The first is that we want to train whoever's handing them out how to put them on correctly, because something with N95 masks and KN95 masks, people put them on, but they're like not misaligned. Like even with like Andrew's little bit of beard, like that might be a little bit too much, honestly. But Anand knows more about that. And then also we want to pass out survey instruments for folks who are passing them out. And then we're also in contact with Lane County or Food for Lane County about including them masks and surveys to their folks for Meals on Wheels. So it's moving along. Just Anand and I are super busy with work and with other stuff, but we've got our eyes on the prize. So we'll give more info to the board next week.
Cool. See ya.
Ian? I talked to Renee from HIV Alliance, and she said anything she can do to help you pass out masks, do surveys in our neighborhood, she's more than willing.
Awesome. Thank you, Thea.
Sure.
So just a side note about this, at one point, the one identifiable group of people was students at the U of O. And I started to think about that. I was like, man, why are we trying to help these students at the U of O and blah, blah, blah. Have y'all noticed the biggest vector has been students from the U of O? And do you guys know that students from the U of O
come to the Whitaker?
Come to the Whitaker. So everything is connected now. All of this COVID outreach is connected. Like wherever we can reach people. And I mean, but I'm really serious about this. That I work with some people that live over by the university, and they were telling me nobody gives a fuck. It is a perfect opportunity to try to get some people to care, because that's what we're trying to do. It's compassion. We're caring about other people from getting infected with this horrible virus. Even if it doesn't affect us right now, it could affect your grandma but yeah, I really think it's important that we understand that it is all together. The kids from the U of O affect us in the Whitaker. Hush your mouth, Andrew. But they really do, and we are all one community, but people love coming here. And it really is going to be a challenge to have a balance of business and safety. You know, I talked to Sam about having Blair Alley open the other day and having, you know, socially distant dancing. And I explained to him, I'm sorry I can't come there because I won't be able to see my grandkid. But the other thing is, I'm really happy you have these people that are able to be employed and you're still able to pay them, you know, because we have to carry on in some way, but everything is changing. So without Thea being here to tell me to shut the hell up, does anyone have anything else?
Oh, shut the hell up.
I'm putting my
Oh, wait. Before we end, Ian and Travis and everyone, I am so sorry that we didn't get those grants, but thank you so much for your, or actually just Ian, thank you so much for your hard work. I really do appreciate that. It really sucks. you can hang on there, but it really sucks though that we weren't able to get this. But I am just thankful that we have people like you that are able to go out and at least attempt to get this fucking money, because all we're trying to do is help people. So thank you very much. And even though it was, you know, it didn't work, I mean, fuck, dude, you put in the work. I really do appreciate it. And I know it was a lot of your time.
It put our name on the table.
It did, but it also showed like how much you fucking care. And I really respect that. So Thea, I'll be quiet. But thank you very much, Ian. I really do want to tell you that.
Hey, Chris.
Travis.
I'd like to say something just about, well, what you were talking about and the demographic of people and cases. And I would much rather see people going out and social distancing at Blair Alley, where there's people walking around sanitizing surfaces and kind of like keeping an eye on things, versus people who are at house parties down at the university just getting wasted.
100%.
You know, and so the fact that bars are closing at 10 is really dumb in my mind, because people just meet up and go party at home instead of being in places that are set up under state regulations for COVID reduction, as far as mask wearing, surface sanitation and stuff. So come out, support your local business. They're out there, you know, wash your hands. But if we don't have our businesses, then we're not going to have a very strong community.
We don't have no money. Yeah. But you know, Travis, that is funny though. How does that mean? how does that work that after 10 people have to go home, mute him?
It's ridiculous.
But that doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It hurts businesses. So people just get drunk earlier and then have the rest of the night to make bad decisions.
Well, I agree. And you know, it doesn't make people any more safe to go home at 10 o'clock, you know?
No, it doesn't. You know, it's, yeah, I don't know.
No, that is true. But yeah, and 100%, I'm not trying to say anything negative about Blair Alley. They are our local watering hole. You know, they do employ so many people that we know in our neighborhood, including you. And, you know, I just can't go there to support them. That's the one thing that I'm saying is, but I do want to support them.
You could order food to go from there. You can, you know, do whatever. But I feel safer there than I do at any other bar I've been to in town since this whole thing's went down and places have been back open. So, you know, because there's people out there cleaning stuff and
safe at a bar.
I mean, are you safe walking down the street? No.
I think Andrew's safe walking down the street.
Never know.
No, but yeah, you're right. We do need to support our local establishments. I mean, with Grit going out of business, it's real. I mean, you know, we are having people that are not being able to go to work. They're unemployed, you know. So yeah.
And there's also businesses. There's businesses that are just going to disappear that we used to enjoy to go to, but they're just going to have to shut down their doors, you know, all over town, that were like really viable and helpful for the community. So
True. And
You know,
gay
we
people, I
gotta
mean,
help our local.
we're part of a service industry, like it or not. I mean, we really are. So,
I agree.
well,
Add my little 2 cents.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Get some
So,
burlesque.
I'm gonna go back to the mailer thing because that's been my focus. I'm just posting in the open neighbors, or not in the open neighbors group, on our board page. The last little section that was about our voting that I'm stuck on. So all I'm gonna say is that I'm posting this now, and if anybody wants to look at it and make some edits or add whatever they think is valuable, I would really appreciate it, because I am brain dead with everything that I've been working on lately. So please take a look at it, add, copy, paste, fix stuff, add in what you think is important, and I have room still, and then I can get it hopefully over to our glitter machine by tomorrow. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Annika.
That was all. No, Chris can come back and talk your ear off again.
I thought we were done.
That was it.
Ian, did you have something else? I'm sorry, we cut you off earlier. Richard, do you have anything to close us with? No,
He's
Richard,
muted.
I'm really glad you're here.
Unmute.
I really have missed you being at the meetings, and I'm really thankful that you took some time to come and hang out with us. That was really good. And Thea, I'm sorry I talked too much. I can't help it.
Everybody just needs to fade to black when you start going.
I see you do that. I
Good
know it.
idea.
It was a new tactic. It worked. You started figuring it out.
I know.
Guys, if he's going on, fade to black instead of grabbing your throat, because he doesn't always get this.
Far away to actually choke him.
What's happened to
Understandable.
Brad?
I got you, Thea. Don't worry. You know, I got you.
What happened to Brad, Katie?
Yeah,
He wasn't able to be here. So
or last week.
one last thing
Oh,
that
last time.
I'll
I
end
was
with.
like,
Brad's not here. So on our Whitaker page, we had a post from
Oh, sorry.
Kari. So on the page as a moderator, myself, Brad, and Annika, and Katie used to be on there. We encounter lots of stuff. You know, we encounter people that are, you know, what is it called when you highlight it and you want it all gone? We have people identifying posts that need to be struck from the page. Reporting it. And so there was a post from Kari that had something to do with COVID. And what the text of it was being skeptical of COVID. And the skepticism was, I guess, not as profound as maybe some of us would maybe identify it with, but Brad identified with it in a way where he sent her a message and alerted her to how her message could be interpreted from people in our neighborhood and how potentially damaging it could possibly be when you're actually not looking at science and you're not taking like real deaths into account. So I had nothing to do with this. And I'm not saying this that I don't support Brad, which obviously I do, because Brad's our bro. So this was something that Brad had taken on and had identified to Kari personally through other texts and through other conversations. There was, I guess, little progress in the way of he was trying to explain how powerful people's words are. You're a person in our neighborhood who puts these murals up. You're somebody that people identify with.
They look up to you.
And potentially you putting this on the page,
it's going to have a negative influence.
it's going to have a negative influence. And it may provide more skepticism. So she has reached out to us to try to be reinstated on the page.
Right.
One of the things that I didn't really like was that she had said that the moderators allow negative conversation and belittling, and we don't allow that. You know,
It happens though.
it happens, and I
It's
agree.
there.
It happens. like today, like Katie, you reported something from a gentleman who was talking about some like being really negative. It was something that I saw that Katie reported, and obviously we're going to remove that. That person was removed, and he was muted because at that moment, obviously somebody's hostile about something that they're saying. You know, if we go a month without somebody posting something,
But we don't, we remove posts and we mute people or give them 30 days or whatever, but we don't usually automatically take somebody off of the neighborhood page for one comment that has been made. And my understanding, I haven't seen the screenshot, was that she had a lot of negativity coming back from this administrator, that he said some pretty nasty things to her. Maybe that was personally, but I think there's no reason that she should stay kicked off the page.
Well, and that point is totally valid. And I
would have put her on weeks ago. I would have reinstated her.
So my thing is, like,
she's asked to be.
She hasn't asked to come back on. She just decided to circumvent. No, she didn't. She decided. Can I finish talking, please? Just for 1 second. Just for 1 second. She decided to circumvent like the natural course of things and talk to Tim, talk to other people in the neighborhood. She knows where I live. I told Tim that I had nothing to do with it, but I respected Brad's opinion. So what has gone on here, to tell you the truth, is a bunch of Facebook dumb bullshit. You know, when you're being skeptical about fucking COVID, then fuck you. You know, do I think that you need to be removed from the page? I didn't do it. That wasn't my call. But I have to think that Brad would have hopefully gone through at least a civil conversation with her. You know, I know Kari. I'm going to call her from her number. I've known her for fucking 25 years, you know? So I just wanted to broach that subject because I know all of us on the Whitaker page saw that. But this is not my total focus. Kari Johnson, Brad, whatever, COVID, this, that, and the other. We have so many other things going on. You know, she also could come to these meetings and talk about it herself instead of having just a message shown up.
Well, she asked me how to contact the whole board, and I, at that point, I didn't think of having her come to the meeting, but I said, you know, send me an email.
She knows me. She knows Tim. Yeah. And but I respect the fact that maybe she didn't understand, you know, who was on the board or how to get in contact. So what I want to do personally is I'm going to have a conversation with her. I will gladly include anyone that would like to have this conversation, and we will use all of the text with her and Brad and have a civil conversation about what really went on and what the repercussions of our words are. You know, I mean, I'm down for that, but to arbitrarily like overrule Brad, be like, let's let her back on. I mean, Brad's not here tonight, you know, so I'm not speaking for Brad, but I'm saying I'm respecting his opinion at that point. I don't want to close in a negative way, but if anyone wants to assist with this and go through this with me and Brad, I'm down. Just let me know personally. You don't have to say anything now. But thank you, Katie, for putting that out there. I really do appreciate it. I had a message from Tim recently that had stated that if I didn't take care of this, Kari would do something publicly. So this is what has been done publicly. And I kind of felt like that was more of a threat because, I mean, you know, I didn't even have a conversation with her. I didn't have anything to do with this, but it has to do with all of us. All right, TSA, I'm talking too much. Okay.
Let me have one last word.
Go ahead, please, Richard.
Deal with regarding the name of the neighborhood, Whitaker. Whitaker was a racist, He owned slaves. When he was the governor, the folks on the East Coast refused to allow him to select the troopers for the Civil War because they didn't trust him. He was part of a Southern resistance here in Oregon. Bad guy. Bad guy. Just think about it.
Richard, I agree. We had someone who was on here a couple months ago that was going to try to talk to some native culture and find another name and see if there was some work going on. So I agree 100%. I don't know what we can do about it, but yeah, I do like that. Ian.
I'd be down to pick up where they left off. What we can do about it is we can, when we do have our election, we can create a charter amendment where we change the name, propose a name change to the neighborhood. I mean, we would need to come correct, and I can lead the homework part of it, but you would need to lead like the, if people have a problem with this, talk to me part of it.
Richard, so we're electing you as the person that they're going to call if they have the problem.
Is that what I said, Chris?
I thought you did.
I think I was calling you out, not Richard out. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Pretty sure it was. No, I think Richard, that's a great idea. And like I said, I'm down to do the homework part of it, which involves talking to experts.
And talking to experts, what does that mean?
So the Kalapui Longhouse, the Longhouse of Many Nations at the University of Oregon campus, I'd be talking to them and some historians and some folklorists.
Well, you know, Skinner was also racist, and so we have a whole backlog here, but the community you need to speak to is the Black community in Eugene that was sequestered under the bridge. That's the group that met the problem head on.
Yep.
Yes, Ian, I'm down. I'll help. And Richard, I was just teasing.
A cultural area. I think we need to name it after the cultured area and take away from, you know, the whole propaganda of it could be hurtful to this that person.
I agree. And Richard, just on your note, like Ian was saying too, and Andrew, I'm not poo-pooing you. I'm 100%. But Steven, who's not here right now, must have left. He actually had some conversations about this too. So this is a work in progress. But like Ian said, you know, we can start the process. You know, why not?
Carefully. And perhaps we should get those who were most injured by it in front of the discussion, like the Black community in Eugene.
Yeah, what time is it? 8:50. We got 9 minutes. So.
No, I thought we'd done. Whoop.
We ended on a positive note.
Oh, that's positive. Yeah.
I'm just teasing. No, Richard, I really do appreciate that. And it's true, man. I mean, it's totally true. And we really did try to approach this subject, but having people bottom line things, that's like whenever somebody's like has this great idea, it's like, okay, go ahead, run with it. You know, our committees are committees of one right now. I mean, they really are, you know, and that's
limitations. I've been there.
Yeah, but
Richard's not allowed to run.
Richard, I'm electing you, dude.
No.
You're in, man. You're in. So, tough shit.
This is a project that I'm doing on
the crawl.
No, but it's true. Like when we look at each other in these fields right here, we're not just looking at one person. We're looking at part of our community. You know, our impact is not just ourselves. What we are bringing to the table is our neighbors, our friends, you know, people we work with. And all of these things are so important because participation, it is pretty weak sometimes. And I don't want to demonize or damn people for not coming to these meetings. I just want to champion the fact that I'm really thankful that all of you are here. You know, I mean, this is, I'm talking too much again. I'm sorry. But all right. On that note,
Katie had her hand up.
Katie, go ahead. Or she's totally shut up. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate all your time. And Richard, please come back all the time.
Come back in writing next time. Thank you.
Bye, y'all. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. I'll come over. All right. We'll see you next week.
Night, guys.
Bye, y'all.
get out of here.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate it.
Is that a good meeting? All right.
Ew.
All right, I'll come over. I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, both you guys come over.
All right, bye. Damn it. It was community council meeting. I'm so sorry I didn't hear your call.
Anna?
No, we're in our community council meeting.
So what happened with that dude?
I'll tell you in a minute. Oh yeah, but that C is yours. It's free. Don't you worry about it. Yeah, perfect. And yeah, I have that stuff on my table. I'm so sorry. Yeah, just come over. Annika's home most all day. Please do. And I'm really sorry I'm so bad with getting back to you, but I am so happy you came and watched football with us. Of course, it was the fucking worst game. Dak went down. What? Oh. So, you know what's funny is it reminded me of I brought my friend Matt to one of Brodigan's games, and it was the fucking game that Brodigan had his career-ending injury at. So it was like, I'm so happy I was so happy you were here, and then all of a sudden it's like,